Well, hello everybody. How are we all today? It's oh, don't know what happened then. It's Monday morning and we're in East Grinstead, I think it's pronounced. Been on the road since about shy of 3 a.m. and we've delivered. We're parked up at Sainsbury's down the road from the delivery and we're looking for a job home. But that's not the tale of the story. So, Mr. Neil at Neptune Couriers has just put a video up, and it was perfectly timed video. So in his video, he says, be careful if you go into a telephone mast, because he's delivering to one, and I'm also delivering to one today. He said, be careful. If you think the track you're going up is a bit muddy or a bit wet, or you can't get up it, you don't want to get stuck and have to call for recovery, you can always walk it up. Unfortunately for me today, the only access to the track was down a very narrow lane which had two-dimensional traffic, so both ways, and it had a little turn off into a field next to the access to the site. So I had no option. I could park about 100 yards away in a little pull-in, or I could pull into this field to deliver. So I pulled into the field. It felt a bit soft, but it felt okay, and it was okay for the most part. The riggers arrived, they pulled in behind me and then to the side of me, and we offloaded, fine. Reversed out, it was slippy, but we were fine. But because it was so tight, having to reverse out of this little lane back onto another little lane, it took a few attempts. So moving back and forth, I dug a hole in the mud and I got stuck. Now, what do you do if you get stuck? Obviously, I'm in a front wheel drive van, so my front wheels are now caked in mud. I'm about that deep into the mud and I can't rock it out, and I don't want to burn my clutch out, obviously. So you got to think sensibly. Don't panic. Find something that you can put under your wheels to get traction. So the site we were on was a shingle site, so the ground was covered in shingle. So we got a couple of little boxes of shingles, put them under the tyres. There was loads of dead branches, snapped them all up, put them under the tyres, and with me driving in reverse and two riggers giving it a slight push, we managed to get it out of the dip and onto the main road. Obviously then we're at a very bad angle to try and reverse onto this road, so we did have to do another 300-point turn, but we got out in the end, and the van is nowhere near as muddy as I expected it to be, and I didn't burn my clutch out because we did it on the first attempt getting out. Well, after I'd already dug the hole by going back and forth trying to get out, if you know what I mean. So yeah, the moral to the story is, listen to Neil. If you don't think you can drive on it, you do not want to be getting stuck, especially if you're on your own. He did do them handy little tips where you can use a ratchet strap to pull yourself out of ditches and stuff like that, but the last thing you want to do is drive somewhere really muddy or boggy and get stuck. Because if you phone your recovery and they can't get to you easily and they need specialist equipment, your recovery won't cover that. You'll have to pay extra. A long time ago, I was in a VW transporter in the snow in Scotland, and I went into a ditch on its side, and I phoned for recovery and they told me it was only 4 hours because of where I was. They'd send someone in a van to inspect it, and then if they needed specialist equipment to pull me out, which obviously they would have done, then they would have been charging me extra, and it was about £1,400 to pull me out of a ditch. Luckily enough, 2 minutes after I made that phone call, a tractor drove past. It jumped out. Two young lads jumped out and went, "Oh, come on, we'll drag you out." They dragged me out, and the van was like on its side up against the fence. It wasn't fully on its side. So when they dragged me out, it just scratched the side, and there actually was very little damage to the van, thankfully. And I carried on with my day. Luckily enough, this was 10 minutes before I picked up the pallet of gin that I was collecting. But the last thing you want to be doing is phoning for recovery to get out of a field, because they'll need specialist equipment, they'll need 4x4s, and they will charge you extra for it. So be wary before you drive into any sort of situation where you might get stuck. And if you do get stuck, Just stay calm, don't panic, because as soon as you start panic, you start over bouncing it about, you're revving, you're burning your clutch out, and you don't want to be doing that. Find something to put under your wheels, whether it's front or rear wheel drive, put it in the direction you want to go in, obviously. So there's no point in me putting a load of stone in front of the wheels when I'm going backwards. You need to go behind the wheels to get me traction to move backwards. And obviously, if there is someone else there to help you, get them to give you a good push. Now, I hope none of you get stuck in fields, I really do. But if you do, just remember that, don't panic, and just find a way to get yourself out, and try not to use your recovery because they will charge you extra. Thank you very much for watching. Please do like and subscribe, and I'll catch you on the next video. Bye bye. Well, as most of you will not know, but I'm going to tell you, I say things wrong all the time, and I mean all the time. But luckily enough, I have my lovely wifey that watches my videos before I put them up, just to double check that I've not said anything completely stupid or offensive or anything like that. And obviously, traffic isn't two-dimensional, it's directional, and I'm an idiot. So I'll just put this little bit at the end to explain that. Thank you for watching. Bye bye.